we always like to give some space to one of our amazing alumni to share their master's research. And I'm really thrilled to welcome Jessica to come. And I've asked if Jessica could share with you the master's project that she did. And probably it's best for Jessica to come on stage now, introduce herself, and share with us her amazing.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you so much, Phil. And I will get started with actually sharing first a video with you. So here we go. Hello, everyone. Hope that you had a good break, a good coffee break, and that hopefully the music in this video help you release some dopamine, so you can actually stay with me for the next 25 minutes. So I suggest that we start looking briefly at what we just saw in this video. That was really a very simple experiment. You see that we have random people in the street conducting an orchestra. And the reaction of the orchestra is actually very obvious to the way a conductor is actually leading this orchestra. You see that. When you have the conductor being confused, the orchestra is confused. If the conductor is actually slow, you hear that the orchestra is going slow, or the music got actually softer. When you see, and at the very end of the video, you see a conductor that is bringing the energy, the confidence, the direction, the guidance, the orchestra actually comes alive. So you see the point, no? That I'm actually trying to make here. The conductor is really the one that is bringing like the tempo, the clarity, the guidance, and the direction. And even if you have the best musician in the world, and this orchestra is actually pretty good, right? You have individual top performers, but if you are not able to conduct them the right way, yeah, you actually don't get real music. You get eventually noise, you know? That's exactly the same with sales. In sales, that's if you don't have the right leader to conduct actually the sales team, you may have the best individual contributor in your team. At best case scenario, you get average performance. And worst case scenario, you may actually get total chaos. So that's really the point here that I really wanted to make, and I will share about the research. But in sales, it's not only about hitting the right notes, technically speaking, but it's also about alignment, bringing like leadership aligned together, a harmony, and clearly a sense of purpose. So look. So I am Jessica. I am currently a sales development leader at SAP at EMEA region. I am a lucky leader of an amazing team of 150 professionals who have a clear purpose to address our customer in a digital fashion. And they have a mission to generate quality conversation with our customers, to generate quality pipeline that ultimately converts into revenue for SAP, clearly so. So in sales, what really attracted me, and that's something I want to share a bit more about myself, not about the job title, but that's the human aspect. And it's good because that's the theme of today, no? It's a human connection. And that's that human element of sales that always attracted me. Clearly, sales is a number game. We are talking about execution and numbers, but it's about people. And I think that Fiona was saying that earlier today. We are dealing with people. We are actually selling to people, and we are working with people. So that's really what attracted me to that profession. If I can share about my values, and that Phil actually brought me to reflect a bit more on my values, I define myself with clear values of being passionate. You will probably see that in the next 20 minutes. Being always curious to learn new things, to be determined, and also to be optimist. always. So which is good in the era that we are within. But very often in my career in sales, I have seen that some of my personal values may clash, with the leader that I was expected to be. And the master in sales transformation that I actually enrolled to helped me big time to reflect on this. I can tell that thanks to this 3 years program where I have looked at who I am as a leader, I am a leader like believing in values, and these values, they actually are within empathy, like leading with empathy, that leads through collaboration, through innovation. And these values really define who I am and how I show up at work, basically. So that master on leading sales transformation really helped me to feel good about it, to feel good about who I am as a person and who I am as a leader. That's really make a huge difference to me. So again, very, very thankful for the journey that we have been through. And talking a bit more about the leading sales transformation program and what inspired my thinking, Phil gave this introduction that I will share a bit more about the research that I went through. So a mix between theory and practice. I was very happy to learn from great thinkers from theory. Clearly, reading like selling performance and studying the sales mindset of Phil. But I see Tony is in the room actually, so my professor as well, who actually helped me, Louise. So I was really inspired by a lot of different professors, teachers. Clearly, we saw Professor Birkinshaw as well with the competitive advantage. These were really like elements that helped me learn and bring the theory basically with the practice. I am a practitioner. I am a leader in an organization. So clearly, what also helped me was to learn from not only the theoretical aspect, but also the practice. So the beauty about the master in sales transformation is that you get to know the theory, but you get to practice and to apply what you are learning into your real life examples with your sales organization. And that helped me big time. And I must say that I also, besides the classroom, I also learned a lot from leaders in my organization. The leaders who are inspiring. I'm pretty sure that we all have names in mind and we picture them, that these leaders that inspire you every day, who actually are lifting you up, are lifting teams up. And maybe surprising, but I was not inspired, but guided with the wrong example of leadership. This is exactly the same as in sales. When you go through your win-loss deal reviews and you look at what good looks like, so then you can repeat and close more revenue. You also look at, of course, what went wrong and in your losses. That's the same for me with leadership. I am inspired by leaders that I admire and that are actually, to me, putting like the different pieces of the puzzles, and they actually lead their teams towards performance. And the wrong examples, really like the people where you see clearly that their impact on their teams and on their performance, they are misaligned, they are actually acting with pressure, they are acting eventually with fear, and clearly it drives like a terrible chaos in the sales organization. So this is also something that actually guided me a lot. And outside of this, I really wanted to share a quick story. And here I'm not going to share anything about SAP or any very recent experience, but I'm going to drag you back to my first job in sales. My first job in sales where, we had in the office a small break room, and where people were having coffee breaks. And the manager there, he decided to put the whiteboard, literally a true whiteboard. You know what I'm talking about? You need to go a few years behind. We are not talking about AI dashboards. We are talking about a whiteboard that you update, with markers. So markers are green color, orange, and red, of course, typical in a sales organization. You update the numbers. So the numbers there from everyone's name on it, and then everyone visible. So very typical in a sales organization, again, nothing wrong with that. But look, the manager was typically coming into that room with his markers in hand, and he was coming, barely a greeting, even people being there, like having coffee, and he was just standing there, like updating the whiteboard. Silence. So he was updating numbers, colors, and then look what he was just walking away without saying anything. So no greetings or celebration of the people in green, no encouragement for the people in orange or in red. He was just walking out. That's it, period, silence, nothing. As a young professional, I can tell you I was like, it's weird, that's very strange actually. So that shaped really like the way that I saw manager behaviors actually reacting and the people reacting to this manager behavior. So back then, anyway, what I did is that I was a young professional. I was stuck in orange actually on that whiteboard. So I decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to shadow the top performer in the green, and then I'm going to learn, and I'm going to be there because I want to be actually on the top of the leaderboard. So that's what I did. I shadow the so-called performer. And why so-called is because clearly when I shadow that top sales performer, what I was very disappointing. He was by far feel customer-centric. He was actually gaming the system, pushing the deals very hard with no interest whatsoever on the customer needs. So that was very disappointing for me. And then I thought, okay, but the manager, I mean, did he know? And guess what? Yes, he knew, because what happens when you have non-happy customers? You receive what? Customer escalations. And that's what he did. You know, he received customer escalations. The manager knew. So then, back then, I really thought that there was something like wrong there in actually allowing and having like the leadership behaviors or absence of leadership, because in this case, that was also mainly absence of leadership. It's not that this person was not a bad person, not at all. It's just the absence of leadership that was actually causing clearly a challenge in terms of the culture that he was generating in his organization. So look, if I'm sharing that story, clearly is that I'm pretty sure that some of you may have faced like similar situation that may resonate. You may remember some leaders who felt distant or disconnected from reality. And that has a strong impact actually on the performance of the team and on the culture of this organization. So there are moments like that where I really like starting exploring better, like how I can bring that human element with the performance element. What are the driver of performance of the team? And that's what I did in my research. And I'm going to share that with you actually in a minute. So let me share the 5 themes that came out from my research, my dissertation. As I said, I'm a practitioner, so everything that I learned, I applied with my organization. 5 themes that came up, so regarding the importance of metrics, leading indicators, the leadership culture that we just talked about briefly, empowerment versus surveillance, and the change readiness aspect, and finally the trust. So let me first start with actually the leading indicator. So if you read, again, the book of Phil, you know that leading indicators are factors that help you predict the future outcome. So they are early signals into what is going to be right performance or wrong performance. So when I did my research within my organization, I think that everyone agreed that leading indicators, they matter. They are these early signals that help you predict. So when I say everyone agree in my organization, because I went through the interviews, so with individual contributors, with manager, with executive, they all agree that leading indicators, they matter. So that's a common sense. But the challenge that we are facing with using metrics, and in sales organization we use metrics here and there everywhere, is that we very often overlook the importance of explaining why actually we have metrics, and especially leading indicators. Leading indicators are these early signals that we are looking at before the results actually come. And if we are not able to explain why and what are they, but most importantly, why they are actually important, we miss a point, and we miss a big point. And that clearly, like, let's say that it avoids the sales team to understand why they are doing things, and why it matters. So for me, and going back to the analogy and the metaphor of the orchestra, the leading indicators, the indicators, the metrics, they are actually the tempo of the organization. So if you are able to make sure that there is a clear understanding of what are your metrics, and not like hundreds of metrics, but key important metrics that are really driving the right results with a predictive aspect, you will be able to have an organization that is aligned. And that organization aligned means, with same as in music, it means that we play together. You remember in the video then that when you have a conductor actually starting together and then getting actually on the right and the same tempo. That's the same as in music. If we are aligned on the metrics and we understand the purpose of these metrics, then we can play together and for more cohesion. I will touch very quickly on the leadership and culture aspect. I think I've shared quite a lot on the conductor of the orchestra. So that's exactly my point here on the importance of a leader to explain behind the decisions. That may looks very easy to say, but we see so many people who are actually always missing the point. So explaining the decision that we are making, ensuring that we are aligned, that we are moving in sync, that we are also, of course, requesting feedback, and that we adapt to the differences within an organization. I think that this is very important. In my research, what I saw was, and I really like the fact that Julian Birkinshaw said that we don't need perfection, and that's good. Actually, we are all happy to hear that we don't need to be perfect. I'm very happy to hear that, by the way. But people don't ask for perfect leaders, that we are bringing back to the authenticity aspect. We don't need perfect leaders, but we need leaders who are actually giving like the direction. And again, same as the conductor of orchestra, we go all together towards the same direction, and we are much more powerful on that. If we are missing that point, clearly that's where we have an excess of control, and clearly control is something that is destroying entirely the psychological safety of your organization, and that's where you start like seeing performance going down. So that's a fine balance. It's between the empowerment you give to your reps, and also of course the metrics that you are using to drive actually predictability and results. So again, in my research, people were not all the individual contributors, they didn't mind at all, like the metrics, the leading indicator, lagging indicator, whatsoever, but they mind actually being controlled, and that's a lack of empowerment that is a killer for the performance of actually a sales organization. But if you are able to bring like the right structure in place, then you have actually the right setup to empower your people and for them to trust you as a leader to go forward and then to give their best. I will, two more things. That one that is sometimes very overlooked by leaders is the emotional aspect of change. Well, we have been talking about change and change in the era of AI, clearly change in technology everywhere. Leaders, they very often overlook like the impact of change, and And I would say that that's always like in our organization, new product, new solutions, new processes, like every time that there is something new. So the impact of actually the change and the readiness, that's not automatic, you know, it's something that you need to adapt to it. It requires time, but it also requires clear communication, transparency on why there is a change, and emotional intelligence as well. And also beyond the emotional intelligence, what we call also the RQ that you see there is relationship intelligence. Is that reading the room, making sure that our leaders, they are able to read the room, to interpret what's happening, you know, and how are the feelings. So there are very simple things to do in theory, but when you put it in practice, it's consistency across how people are reacting to change and how they are able to cope with change. And of course, last but not least, sounds cliche, but the foundation, the element that brings everything together, for me, and that was the fifth theme of my research, is trust. So again, trust was everywhere in the interviews that I've been running. Trust in tools, trust in leaders, trust in processes. That was really the cultural lever, what I like to call the cultural lever of the performance of an organization. Same as, again, with the orchestra, if the musicians are able to trust their conductor and trust that they can start at the same time, that they go towards the same direction, that there is a perfect alignment, they are much more equipped to actually deliver like their highest performance. They deliver their best. So for me, trust is clearly not soft at all. That is definitely a performance driver. And that's maybe a provocative question here that I can leave you with on this is, how is trust a leading indicator of your organization? How do you measure it today? And if you are not, I would strongly encourage you to actually do it. So clearly, we have typical employee annual survey that is measuring how you trust your leaders, how you trust your organization, how you trust the board of the company, the tools, etc. But that's the change aspect that we are going through requires more than an annual performance or employee review. We require a pulse aspect and a dynamic that helps us to see when actually trust is assessed. So, look. These 5 themes that I have briefly shared with you, that are the outcome of my research, they all point into the same direction. If I can actually conclude on the 5 themes, they point out on the fact that metrics, of course, in our organization matters, clearly. Tools, they matter, absolutely. We are all in agreement with that. They are a lever for productivity increase. But without human interaction and the leadership to bring everything together, we are not able to create the harmony of the team, you know. And the harmony, and I really like, again, I mean, Julian Birkinshaw helped me big time to confirm also some of this thinking, but that's the interpretation of it. AI and the tools that we are using, they may help us in a lot of different aspects, but at the end, sorry about that, bear with me, I'm almost there. But at the end, it's all down to the interpretation. So if the human is able to interpret and give meaning and a sense of purpose of what we do and how we do it, then we get to clearly a better state. So you just saw, so I'm going straight there. As the theme today was human connection and AI, even if I didn't research on AI specifically, but there is clearly a connection there. So I will leave you with my avatar. Trevor is not here, but otherwise, yeah. That's good that he's not here, actually, because I have used another tool to actually bring my avatar to you. So I will present my personal avatar, made with my image, also replicating a bit my voice. However, with a higher French accent that I think I have, but it's okay. It's okay. So you'll see. But I leave you with my avatar to say a few words and to illustrate the point that I'm trying to make.
An orchestra follows speed, beat, and tempo. Each section has its parts, and dynamics create contrast and balance. When individuals execute correctly, the music is technically accurate. But technical accuracy is not the same as a unified performance. Without shared interpretation and connection, the result is coordination, not harmony.
Exactly. So AI can read the score, but AI can't read and feel the music and the feelings yet. We never know where we are going, but at least yet, this is not something that AI is able to actually deliver to us. So what my avatar was trying to say is that in music or in sales, that's never like the sum of individual performance. That's really like the harmony that we are able to bring together, and the togetherness and the alignment in terms of purpose, of alignment and values that we share, and of course like metrics as well. So we bring a higher performance level. So as we are talking about AI and clearly what is the future of sales organization, I will leave you with that, but we always think about what is changing, and a lot is changing. That's what I was referring at in the change readiness aspect. But there are also things that don't change, but we should leverage even more. And this, again, back to people. And people are the one that are the constant. And that relationship that we are having, like with our customers or with our employees, clearly is the constant. So people are the one, and leaders are the one bringing interpretation to the sales performance. They bring the meaning, they bring the sense of purpose. So when you are able to do that, because all of that sometimes may seem very simple to say, you may have heard it like over and over, and okay, is Jessica bringing something new? Yeah, okay, I heard it here and there, yes. But in practice, that's much more difficult to actually implement than to put like the combination of it. When you are able to do that as a leader, and you need to practice on this, we need all to practice on becoming actually a better version of ourselves as part of human being to drive our sales organization. Beautiful things happen, you know, and powerful things happen. And you bring like a team not only to execute tasks. Again, Birkincho was talking about that, like the difference in our era is not about executing tasks. This is going to be replaced by our agentic AI, but clearly is about making sure that we can collaborate. We can work together, and we can bring like the individual performers making like a team performance, and that makes actually the full difference. So individuals are not performing on their own, but they are actually performing as a team, and that makes a difference in terms of performance. So I will leave you with that. I do believe that in this era of AI, we have heard from many presenters today. So it's not about replacing everything by AI. We don't forget that the human connection is there, and we need to bring the two together. To go back to the analogy of music, AI should be for us as sales leaders or responsible of companies. They should be the amplifier of the human connection. That's really how I see it, and I see that as an opportunity. Remember, I am an optimist, so I really think that there is an opportunity ahead of us. So that's really where I would leave you with. Remember the leader in the complexity of what a leader's responsibility is to bring leadership alignment, mission, values, and bringing like the team to work together in harmony that impacts drastically your performance and your growth that we are expecting to reach in this new era anyway. So the human connection is definitely more important than ever. The leader is more important than ever, and we really need to make sure that as a collective group, we empower our leaders as well to bring everything into a better place. So I leave you with that. I hope that you can live with that simple thought, that same as in music, we are able to play harmony and a symphony only when we are bringing everyone together and not like a sum of individual parts. But it's the togetherness that actually brings like the full orchestra delivering high performance. So thank you for your attention and thank you for listening. I hope that it triggers a few thinking.
And you give Jessica a round of applause. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And then when Jessica started
Question.
with us, yeah, I think we're managing a fairly small team of people in Barcelona, now 120 people. So it's been amazing, the progress you made. Any quick questions for Jessica? Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, sure.
Thank you, Jessica. Can you explain your RQ term and where?
That's that stands for relationship intelligence. I think that you would find it also under the name of social intelligence. For instance, Goldman was actually wrote a lot about emotional intelligence and also social intelligence. So that's similar concept on the ability of someone to actually build relationship, build rapport, and have the connection with the people, and really making like a relationship works in a positive way, or even like a resolving conflict way. In a nutshell.
Great. Okay. Any other questions for Jessica? Hero.
Just a simple question, actually. How do you feel seeing your avatar talking?
That's weird, huh? Super weird. Yeah, it's weird. You get uncomfortable a few times, and then that's the same as when you record yourself, and then you hear your voice. It's like, is that me? It's terrible. But then you get used to it, and we get used to everything. So yeah, I get used to it, and then using it also on scaling some of the messaging towards my organization, or we use it a lot for training, for instance, and. Yeah, but I feel okay, you know. I feel okay. Sometimes I must say I feel it even cool that actually I become an astronaut one day, and then the next day I can be a Santa. Actually, my team will probably see me as a Santa avatar anytime soon to give my wishes to my end of the year wishes. So I'm okay. I have embraced it. Let's put it this way.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you very much, Jessica.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.